Everyone's telling you to buy a house. Your parents, your friends, even random people on social media. You've probably been told, stop throwing money away on rent, or build some equity. But what if I told you that buying a house right now might be one of the worst financial decisions you could make? I work in architecture and I see the housing industry from the inside. I know what houses actually cost to build, maintain, and own. And I'm watching an entire generation get financially destroyed by following advice that made sense 30 years ago, but is completely wrong today. In 2025, it's cheaper to rent than buy in every major city in America. Let me say that again. Renting is literally cheaper than buying everywhere that matters. Yet millions of people are still convinced that homeownership is the path to wealth, even as they go broke trying to afford it. So stick around, because I'm going to show you the real math behind homeownership when it actually makes sense to buy, and why renting might be the smartest financial move you can make in 2025. The American dream has become a financial nightmare. For generations, homeownership has been the ultimate symbol of success in America. Your parents probably told you to stop throwing money away on rent and build some equity. But here's the problem. Most people don't actually run the numbers before they buy. They get frustrated by rising rent, pressured by family, and convinced by outdated advice. Before they know it, they're signing a 30-year mortgage thinking they're doing the smart thing. I see this all the time working in architecture. People come to us excited about their new house, then 6 months later they're stressed about money, can't afford the renovations they wanted, and realize they're house poor. Here's what nobody tells you. Your mortgage payment is just the beginning. That $2,500 mortgage you qualified for? By the time you add property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and all the hidden costs, you're looking at $4,000 plus per month in total housing expenses. And here's the kicker. It's currently cheaper to rent than buy in 100% of the top 50 metro areas in the United States. Let me say that again. Renting is cheaper than buying everywhere that matters. So when someone says, "At least I'm building equity," I want you to remember this. Most of your mortgage payment goes to interest, not equity, for the first 20 years. The math that will shock you. Let me show you something that's going to blow your mind. Take the median-priced house in America, about $407,000. Most people think, put 20% down, get a mortgage, build equity, profit, right? Wrong. Here's what actually happens. You put $81,440 down and finance $325,760 at 6.8% interest for 30 years. Your monthly mortgage payment, $2,124. But that's just principal and interest. Here's what you'll actually pay over 30 years. Interest, $439,000, more than the original price of the house. Property taxes, $153,000. Maintenance and repairs, $122,000. Insurance, $97,000. Closing costs, $14,000. Total cost, $906,000. Even if your house appreciates at 3.5% per year and is worth $1.14 million after 30 years, you still only made $237,000 profit. That's $237,000 over 30 years. That's $658 per month in profit for 3 decades of payments, repairs, and stress. Meanwhile, if you had rented for $1,800 per month and invested the difference in index funds, you'd have over $1.2 million in actual cash you can access anytime. The phantom costs nobody talks about. When you rent, $1,800 is the maximum you'll pay. When you own, $2,124 is the minimum. Here's what I mean by phantom costs. The stuff that breaks that nobody prepared you for. Roof replacement, $15,000 to $25,000. HVAC system, $8,000 to $12,000. Water heater, $1,500 to $3,000. Foundation repair, $10,000 to $20,000. Appliances, $8,000 to $15,000. I literally just talked to a friend whose HVAC died in the middle of summer. $11,000 to replace it. Had to be done immediately. When you rent and something breaks, you text your landlord. When you own, you pull out your credit card. My rule of phantom costs: only buy if you plan to stay for at least 10 years, because that's how long it takes to spread out these massive hidden expenses. The pressure to buy and why it's destroying people. Here's something deeper that's happening. Americans hate doing anything that feels poor. Try this experiment. Tell someone making $60,000 that they should buy generic cereal instead of name brand at the grocery store. Same ingredients, same nutrition, but you'll get a lecture about quality, even though it's literally made in the same factory. That's because deep down, most Americans think certain choices are beneath them, and Americans hate doing what feels like a downgrade. The same thing happens with renting. People think, successful people own houses. If I'm renting, I must be failing. I've felt this pressure too. When people come over and ask if I own my place, you can feel the energy shift when I say I rent. Suddenly there's judgment, confusion. But here's the truth. I'm choosing to rent because I ran the numbers. And those numbers allowed me to invest aggressively, live in a better neighborhood than I could afford to buy in, and have zero weekend projects fixing things. Don't buy a house to impress anyone. Buy it because you ran the numbers and it makes sense for your life. So when does buying actually make sense? Look, I'm not anti-homeownership. I'll probably buy a house someday, but I'm going to do it smart. Here's my 5-point checklist for when buying makes sense. 1. You'll stay there for at least 10 years. If you move in 3 to 5 years, transaction costs will eat your profits. 2. You have 20% down payment saved on top of emergency savings. This shows financial discipline and gives you flexibility with rates. 3. Total housing costs stay below 28% of gross monthly income. That's mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, everything. For that $407,000 house, you'd need to make $138,000 per year minimum. 4. You're okay if the house value drops 10%. Real estate fluctuates. If a market drop would ruin you financially or emotionally, you're not ready. 5. You actually want to buy the house. Not because everyone expects you to, but because it fits your vision for your life. If you can't check all 5 boxes, wait. It's okay to rent. It might be the smarter move. How renting can make you rich. Let me show you a real example from Dallas, Texas. Rent, $2,500 per month for a 3-bedroom house. Buy. Same neighborhood, same size house for $470,000. With 20% down, your monthly costs break down like this. Mortgage, $2,466. Property taxes, $650. Insurance, $441. Maintenance, $850. Total monthly cost to own, $4,407. That's $1,907 more per month than renting the same house. Now here's where it gets interesting. Take that $1,907 difference and invest it in index funds earning 7% annually. After 30 years, that investment grows to $2.3 million. While the homeowner was spending weekends at Home Depot and dealing with broken water heaters, you built real wealth that you can actually access. The rule that changes everything. If you choose to rent, you must invest the difference. This is critical. Renting only wins if you're disciplined about investing the money you save. If you just spend that extra $1,907 on restaurants and random stuff, then buying probably makes more sense because at least you're forced to save something. But if you can invest consistently, renting plus investing beats homeownership in most markets right now. How to make this decision? Stop guessing. Let me show you exactly how to figure this out. Go to the New York Times Buy versus Rent calculator. It's free and incredibly accurate. Plug in these numbers. Home price in your area. Rent for a comparable place. 7% interest rate. Current reality as of 2025. 20% down payment. 10% investment return. Historical stock market average. How long you plan to stay. The calculator will tell you exactly which option saves you more money. I've used this with friends who were about to make terrible financial decisions. One couple was about to buy a $650,000 house making $85,000 combined. The calculator showed they'd lose $300,000 over 10 years compared to renting. They decided to wait, and now they're in a much better financial position. My personal strategy. This is what I've started doing. I rent and invest what I would have spent on a down payment and monthly homeownership costs. When I'm ready to buy someday, I'll have more flexibility because my money isn't tied up in one illiquid asset. I might be able to put down more money and get better rates, or I'll have the freedom to wait for the right opportunity. Plus, right now, I have zero stress about maintenance, property taxes going up, or being stuck in one location if better opportunities arise. This is about having options, not just following what everyone else does. The bottom line, the housing market isn't broken. The advice is, stop listening to people who say rent is throwing money away when they haven't run the actual numbers. Start making decisions based on math, not emotions or social pressure. Whether you buy or rent, make it a conscious choice based on your finances and your actual goals, not what your parents or friends expect. Your future self will thank you for running the numbers instead of just following the crowd. And if this opened your eyes to what homeownership actually costs, hit that like button and subscribe for more honest financial advice that might save you from making expensive mistakes. I'll see you in the next one.